fuel crisis is never just about fuel. It starts quietly. Small disruptions, longer queues, rising pressure, and it keeps escalating until it becomes something way more catastrophic. By the time petrol browsers are empty and service stations have dried up, the real damage has already spread to food, healthcare, transport, businesses, employment, even waste management, and daily life. My name is Luke Jones. Welcome to the Jonesy Express. These are the 6 stages of a fuel crisis. Stage 1, strain. Supply strain is the beginning of any fuel crisis and can be caused by many things such as natural disasters, global pandemics, economic or government sanctions, or in our most favorite common way, wars or conflicts around the world. Now, the most common side effects that you will see in stage 1 is the rise of fuel prices. Now, already here in Australia, we are seeing prices reach $3 a litre, if not more. The media will also begin to report on this, and whether it's true or not, that's not really relevant because people will believe what they want to believe, which does have the potential to increase public anxiety, panic buying, which we have already seen. You'll also see big politicians like the Prime Minister of Australia and general government bodies start to talk about the issue, though they will most likely reassure the public and tell them that everything is fine.
There is not less fuel in Australia today than there was 3 weeks ago.
Anthony Albanese is set to hold crisis talks with the international energy boss.
That everything is still arriving, supply shortages are not a thing, and supply interruptions are not happening. Now, the issue with Australia is for some reason, being on this big rock floating in the ocean in the middle of nowhere, the Australian government has decided that we only need to produce 10% of our own petroleum products and import the other 90%. Fantastic idea. Guys, quick note and disclaimer, these are all alleged theories. Look, the purpose of this video is not to freak you out or scare you or whatever. I don't think people are thinking about this. And maybe it's gonna be nothing, maybe it'll get worse, but I think it is of value to have these things brought to your attention and to consider these things. I'm not saying freak out, I'm not saying, go build a bunker, but I'm just trying to bring awareness to you guys, okay? Let's jump in. Stage 2, disruption. Australia is here at that stage right now. This is where fuel prices continue to rise, breaking records and hitting all-time highs, and the shortage is now evident in isolated areas, smaller towns, even some cities. Large cities, like where I live in Sydney, are not immune to this.
This servo at Pendle Hill was all out of E10 and unleaded today, but it still had diesel for those who can afford it.
There are already 3 service stations within walking distance of me that have either completely shut down or have run out of unleaded petrol. Queues line up at service stations, people are panic buying, filling up jerry cans or whatever means they have, and people like tradies, service or delivery-based businesses are now either affected, charging more or seeing delays because of the increased cost of fuel and transport. This also affects other things like we saw yesterday, where the rate of inflation goes above what they expect and reserve banks decide to raise interest rates.
Australia now has the highest interest rates in the Western world.
This begins to put pressure on households who have mortgages, whether in the middle class or lower socioeconomic areas, and the effects of the financial burdens are starting to be felt. Plus, the rise of crime has begun.
Australian truck drivers are being told to lock up their fuel tanks, with reports brazen thieves are stealing hundreds of litres of fuel.
We're already seeing it in cities and local and isolated areas where some service stations are forcing people to give them their keys before they are able to fill up their car with petrol. Now, the media will increase their coverage on this. They will talk about shortages, price increases, which can lead to more public panic and anxiety. The government and larger political authorities will begin to report on this more, reiterating to the public and media outlets that everything is fine and that tankers that are supposed to arrive and all our petroleum products that are supposed to arrive are coming and that there is no issue. However, they will also urge the public to reduce their travel, work from home if possible, and not to make any unnecessary trips or fill up jerry cans. Sounding familiar? And due to the overall crisis, tourism is now being affected. People may be traveling less, which can also have a deeper effect on communities and smaller towns that rely on the income and influx of people from tourism. This is all starting to sound a little bit familiar to something a few years ago where the government urges us that everything is fine, don't go out, stay at home, and it'll all be over in a few weeks. Stage 3, system stress. This is now real and not going away anytime soon. The number of petrol stations that are running out of diesel, petrol, or all petroleum products is increasing. And cities, large cities, like where I live in Sydney, are not immune to this. Those petrol stations who still have petrol, the prices will be increasing, maybe even hitting ranges of $4 a litre, if not more.
Diesel rates could skyrocket as high as $4 a litre.
And no fuel signs is now a common daily occurrence. There's a possibility for supermarket stocks to be inconsistent with replenishment due to freight issues, along with other things like healthcare, medical, and well, other general freight and logistics problems will start appearing. Highways and streets are getting quieter, people are starting to stay in their houses, work from home if they can, small businesses are starting to suffer, and public panic is now widespread. The government and media have increased their messaging, most likely reiterating that everything is fine, and potentially working on restrictions behind the scenes if they haven't already imposed them. Construction and development has stopped completely, or is now only prioritized for key projects. Public transport is now feeling the pressure. People may be choosing or forced to use public transport due to their own personal circumstances, whether financially or lack of fuel. The prices of public transport may also increase, or there could be potential for government subsidization. Casual workers are now affected, if not potentially made redundant. Other people may not be able to go to work due to their own personal circumstances or constraints and pressures on public transport. You can also expect to see more of a rise in crime and unemployment. There is potential to see price increases in supermarkets due to the increased expense of transport and logistics. This is no longer a fuel price issue or an inconvenience, it is a social disruption. Stage 4, nationwide shortage. This is where government intervention and control kicks in if it hasn't already done so in stage 3. Fuel rationing has arrived and is not going away anytime soon. Government bodies, emergency services, military, and freight now gets priority. The public, aka civilians, have had restrictions imposed on them. Limits on how much you can buy, when you can get it, and how often can you get it. Flights are either more expensive, been reduced, or have stopped in some areas completely. Food supply is now an issue. Shelves are empty for long periods of time or completely. Construction and development has slowed right down or now completely stopped, which is now going to affect more unemployment and the economy. Schools, the education system, and work in general is now 100% affected. Families may not be taking their kids to school because they are unable, especially if it's not within walking distance. And people may not be able to go to work, which is a problem if you are unable to work from home. Unfortunately, you can't mow grass via Bluetooth. In addition to that, families and households may be struggling financially, even with food, or even their fuel supply, which is either completely depleted, running low, or they are trying to hold on and conserve it. This can also, increase the crime rate. People may be getting desperate. We may be seeing break-ins, people stealing fuel out of cars on the street. Yes, I will not be parking my car on the street. Not only that, if something is broken, if there is an outage or something needs to be repaired, the repair person coming out to do that may be delayed, may not be able to, or if they require a part, that may be delayed as well, or it may not come at all. Just like your Amazon package. And the possibility of civil unrest is, probably not a possibility anymore. It's fights and arguments at service stations for lineups if there's rationing. At supermarkets, panic buying has increased everywhere. Things are getting very emotional and chaotic. And trust with the government is already fractured. Guys, I'm once again reiterating, I don't want us to get here. I want us to, get fuel, go back to normal, and I want to be able to finish my car. You know what I mean? Let's go back to normal life. But again, I'm making this video and I'm talking about these things because I do believe people aren't thinking about it and they have no fucking idea. I think they're just, some of them are, got their head in the clouds, a level of entitlement and privilege that this is not going to affect us and it's going to blow over when it can get worse. So and unfortunately, due to a compounding effect of government and Australian decisions, we have lost our production, processing, and manufacturing capacities, which is now obviously seen as effects. For a country that is a floating lump of earth in the middle of nowhere, we are not of a very sustainable country. Stage 5, critical shortage. Society is now feeling the effects in more ways than just fuel or food. The price of fuel is honestly so expensive or not even relevant, as the cost of fuel is now not even important or even a concern, as there are now larger issues at hand. Fuel reserves are getting less and less, government restrictions are getting more and more, resulting in extreme limits for civilians and essential workers. Fuel is now only prioritised and given to government bodies, emergency services, military, and key freight and logistics companies. The streets and highways are empty. Peak hour traffic is no longer a thing. The black market activity can begin. Crime rate and theft is increasing, putting strain and pressure on police and emergency services. Hospitals and the healthcare industry are experiencing more delays and pressure, and the access to basic pharmaceuticals is now becoming a larger problem. Businesses are closing, unemployment is rising, the economy is slowing down, if not starting to crumble, and we have a new problem entering the chat, which is waste. Waste collection and management is now affected, maybe even stopped in some areas, which results in potential increased disease spread, bacteria, vermin, increase in methane gas, which can cause fires, and even increased illegal dumping, which once again puts strain on emergency services. This is not a fuel problem anymore. This is a food, health, waste, logistics, and social nightmare. Stage 6, serious instability. This is not a fuel problem. This is a societal crisis. The price of fuel and whether you can get it or not is no longer really an issue, because most service stations are probably shut down with only a handful remaining open and at the discretional control of the government. Fuel is now 100% controlled by the government and treated as a strategic survival resource. Little to no civilian use is allowed. Once again, only emergency services, hospitals, certain government bodies, military, and key freight and logistics are being allocated fuel to try and keep the country somewhat together. We will also most likely be experiencing power outages, probably if not earlier in stage 5, gas shortages, not because there is no power, but if something goes wrong, people are unable to go out there to fix it, or the certain materials, equipment, or parts required cannot be attained. Most likely right now, money is irrelevant. Money would be in fuel if you still have it, or other things that you can trade, because now there are food shortages, there are medical shortages, and other general supplies like batteries, for example, that people cannot get. Civil unrest is a daily occurrence. Crime is going up, police are spread thin, and a lot of families and households are getting desperate. They're probably struggling, they might not be able to get food, water maybe if there's interruptions, and honestly, they may be struggling to keep life together. Daily life is broken. People are emotional, reactive, desperate, and less cooperative. Trust with the government is broken. There is civil unrest, potentially riots, and we may be on the verge of a civil war. These are all worst cases, they're all conspiracy theories. We here in Australia are in stage 2, and I really hope for everyone's sake it does not go beyond that, because I want to finish my car. Like I said before, this video is not to scare you, it's just to bring to your attention that there are many simple things you can do to increase the fuel economy on your car, even prepare your family for potential worst case scenarios beyond just buying fuel. And I do want to share those with you to help you and educate you. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And please look after yourself, stay safe out there, and I'll see you next time on the Jonesy Express.